Welcome everybody, and I hope that you learned a lot from this presentation today, the World of Work Part 1. Can you change the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm going to start off with a quote, and I like starting off with quotes. I believe that this one out of my research that I've done, because I tried to look for something that would ignite something inside of everybody that's participating in this webinar. Okay, so number one, how to identify and apply your own learning style. Okay, so number one, what is a learning style? Okay, so the four main features of visual, auditory, tactile, which is reading and writing, and also kinesthetic. If you can just press the button for me, an image will pop up. Okay, so visual learners are people who can study through images, diagrams, graphics, charts, maps, mind maps, and flashcards. Auditory learners, they listen with their ears. Okay, so they engage with information through listening, speaking, group discussions, etc. Tactile individuals, they read, they write, they do detailed notes and whatnot. So they want to engage physically with the information, but in terms of reading, writing specifically. And then kinesthetic to grade 8 and grade 9. When you were doing technology, think of kinetic movement. It's got to do with movement, tactile, touching things. Okay, types of learning. So there are so many different types of learning styles, and a simple Google search will indicate the various methods that have been identified. This will continue to grow. You can be more style, and styles can vary depending on the situation. Okay, so there are these are the main ones. So out of all of the different models that have been presented, these are the ones that mainly pop up. Okay, so you get visual, oral. The oral comes and so, for example, people, if you want to study the heart, you go onto YouTube and there's actually a song about the heart. Sometimes people can remember songs for years and years and years after actually hearing them, and as soon as they hear the song, they remember the words word for word. But if I ask you what was in your textbook last week, you won't know the answer to that. So try and add music into what you are learning if that is where you are at. Then verbal, linguistic, physical, logical, and solitary. This is quite a cool diagram that I found a couple of years back, okay, from Integrated Learning Strategies. And it actually shows you like what each of these individual things actually do. So like logical, mathematical, the child prefers using reason, logic, and recognizes patterns. Social, they want to deal with group interaction. Verbal, for example, okay, they prefer using words in both speech and writing. They love role playing. So this is a very interesting slide because it actually gives you some guidance as to what. Now, please remember that you don't only have to do one. I myself, depending on the situation, I'm social. Sometimes I'm visual. Sometimes I'm kinesthetic, even though, most of the time I enjoy just like reading things and I like engaging with writing. But sometimes I'm a mixture. You can be verbal and social at the same time. Social is when you're with other people, but you want to do role playing, but you also want to learn while you're busy with it. So see what works for you. And if something doesn't work for you, try something different. Okay, especially if you're in grade 8, grade 9, grade 10 at the moment. You're still getting used to trying to figure out who you are as a person. So take your time and figure out, like, if you think you're a visual learner, try to use the methods that visual learners use. But if you're seeing that your marks are dropping, then or stagnating, which means they're not improving, then maybe you should consider trying something different. Speak to mom, speak to dad, speak to the school, the teachers, the counselors. Maybe your friends might have something that might be interested, especially if you can get your hands on someone who is working at a university or has studied through university. Ask them what they have been using. There are so many different styles. My own way of studying, I only figured out when I was like 21 years old, when I was at Pearson, which is now Eduvos. I only figured out how to learn when I was 21. And in my high school, my marks were good and everything. And they were good. but I never actually understood what I was learning, and I never realized that going into exams can genuinely be easy. You know, when I write exams, I love studying, I love writing exams, which was weird because I hated school when I was younger. Like primary school, I hated school. But now I'm qualified and whatnot. And at one stage, I was getting A's for every single exam that I wrote. And that's saying something because I was a strong 60%er when I was in high school. But at varsity, I became a 80%er because my marks jumped by 20% because I figured out what works for me. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so topic number 2. Oh, sorry, before I carry on, are there any questions with regards to topic number 1? No? Okay.
Yes, great.
Yes. Hi.
Hi, speaking to Lucy. So
Nice to meet you.
my question is, how do I identify which learning style am I best in?
Are you based in? Okay, so you as an individual, are you someone who, when someone writes something on the board, like a teacher's writing something on the board, okay, and you're seeing what the teacher is doing? Teachers are usually female, so I'm just going to use the word she, okay? When you see what she's doing in the front of the classroom, okay, do you learn like that? Do you learn better when you're sitting by yourself at home with a book in front of you? When someone's speaking, when someone's giving you directions verbally, can you listen to what they say and follow those instructions? Which one of those 3 are you better at?
The first one, where like you have to dot down what she's saying, and then that's how I remember. Instead of yeah.
Okay, so you work better when it comes to, majority of people are actually visual learners, okay, or have got a potential to become visual learners. So you will then start out with going, okay, cool. So am I a visual learner? Do some research, go online, type in visual learners. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And then try and use those and see if it's working. Are you logical? Do you like maths?
Yes, ma'am. I love calculations.
Okay, cool. So if you like maths, okay, then you can spot patterns, for example. So spot a trend. So if, say, for instance, you're busy studying and you see, wait, there's something here in math lit. I don't know, just pretend, okay, you do math lit. Something here is in math lit, but wait, I remember seeing that in business studies. 2 birds, 1 stone. You don't have to study twice as hard, just study the one thing very well, okay? And then you've done 2 parts of sorry, just let me think very quickly. You've done 2 parts of two different subjects, but you are answering the same question, okay? Because like mean median mode, for example, spot a pattern. Wait, I've been doing mean median mode for grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. Oh my word. Maybe if I study at grade 9, by the time I'm a matric, I'll get 100% for it. You see, that type of thing. Does that make sense? Am I answering your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, darling. Okay, any other questions? Nothing? Okay, so topic 2, we're going to be discussing relationship between performance in school subjects and interests and abilities. So I'm just going to talk to you quickly about school subjects, and then we're going to discuss that in terms of who you are as an individual. So I have basically divided them into 3 things. I'm first going to talk about STEM. Now, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, STEM. These are quite difficult industries to get into, okay? Yes, mathematics in majority of them is a requirement. So if you want to pursue, these are things like your BScs, your Bachelor of Sciences, your Bachelor of Engineering, architecture, anything to do with oceanography, marine biology, farming, those types of things, okay? Mathematics is usually a requirement to get into these types of industries. So they are mathematics, mathematical literacy. I actually disagree. I don't think that math lit is STEM. I think that math lit is commerce because of the high financial aspect of math lit, because it's very finance driven. engineering, graphics and design, IT, CAT, physics, life sciences, the 3 agricultural subjects, civil technology, civil has to do with buildings, okay? Electrical, equine studies is the study of horses. So if anyone's interested in doing horses, maybe do some research. I don't know of any schools in our area, in my area specifically, that do equine studies. I do know of distance education and then farming institutions. And then robotics and marine sciences. Marine sciences is a new subject that the government's trying to bring in, and I'm all for it. Just click the button, please. Okay, humanities. Okay, these are my interests. Okay, languages, so English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Xhosa, German, French, whatever language. Personally, I am a lover of English. Life orientation, which is my favorite subject, hands down. I think it is Psychology 101. I think they should change the name to psychology. History, geography, visual art, love the subject. Drama, music, dance studies, religion studies, absolutely amazing subject. Please click. Okay, and then your commerce subjects. Commerce are basically, it's business, trade, things like that. So business studies, consumer studies, great. I think that consumer studies is one of those all-round subjects which teaches you how to just be like a functional adult because there's cooking involved, but there's also things like design and food and nutrition. It's a great subject. Hospitality, tourism, accounting, and economics. I just want to discuss these subjects quickly in terms of, now, everybody says you have to have mathematics. You have to have mathematics. Not necessarily. It depends on where you want to go and what you want to study. So, for example, I am studying psychology. The requirement to get into psychology is English. I had to have a bachelor's pass. Now, a bachelor's pass is 4 subjects over 50% in matric out of your 7 subjects. And I had to have 50% for my home language, which was English. So there we go. I got a bachelor's pass. I got my thing. I did mathematics, but I didn't need to have mathematics to get into my qualification. So if you are stressing about, I have to have maths or else I can't go study, not necessarily. You need to do research, and I'm going to touch on that soon. You need to do research into what course you are wanting to pursue, and if you do need, what subject. So for example, I know there are a lot of STEM subjects where you have to have maths and physics. Now, if you are taking maths lit and you aren't taking physical sciences, you don't qualify to even apply to get into the qualification. So please do focus on that. From my knowledge, and I believe I'm quite knowledgeable about this type of thing, I have actually never seen anything other than English or your home language, maths and physics, but only for sciences, as a compulsory subject. So I've never seen history as a compulsory subject. History is a nice to have for things like law. I advise, as a educational consultant and, you know, with my qualifications and whatnot, I do advise that if you want to go study, maybe history is a nice to have subject because it teaches you to write essays, for example. It teaches you to reason with facts. So it is a very great subject. I'm an advocate for history. Apparently, the government wants to make history compulsory and they want to make life orientation an elective. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it is in the pipelines. So choose subjects that you are good at and that you like. If you don't like accounting and you're bad at accounting, then why are you doing accounting? If you want to be an accountant, like, do you want to be an accountant? Do you know what accounting is? Okay, maybe go and speak to professionals in the industry itself. Okay, phone someone up and go, hi, mom, dad, can you please, granny, do you know someone who works in this industry? Could you maybe organize a meeting with them so that I can talk to them? Contact the universities, contact Eduvos. Amazing, amazing, amazing service. I went there. I cannot stop bragging. Okay, I absolutely love it. I send my students that walk through my hands. If they want to, if Eduvos offers the degree, I try to get them in there because of the service that I got. Go and have a chat with them. The guys there are genuinely very nice people, and they'll never be mean to you. Sorry, I see a comment over here. History is good and all, but I would not love having it as a compulsory subject. Yeah, that's no lie. However, history in FET, which is grade 10, 11, and 12, is different, okay, to your grade 7, 8, and 9 history. Okay, so I understand. I also had this thing of I don't like history, but it's kind of rubbed off on me. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I hope that answers the question with topic 3. Now, topic 2. From now, topic 3, steps in choosing career category relating to individual strengths, abilities, interests, and passion. Okay, so this is quite a long one, but I'm going to go quickly through it. Okay. Number 1, assess yourself. 2, make a list of potential occupations. 3, explore your options. 4, narrow down. Set goals, create action plan, obtaining training. Okay, I'm going to break them down now for you guys. Just click once. Okay, so this over here, it was an image that I saw, and I actually saw this a couple of years ago. And I really think that you should take this into account. This is a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. So you need to decide, do you want to... People always chase careers for money, or they chase it for prestige. So like, I want to be a doctor because I want to have the title, or I want to have the, you know, people looking at me and admiring my intelligence and stuff, and go for it. If that's what drives you, if money which is what drives you, then, you know, there's nothing, I guess, wrong with that. For myself, as a counselor, one thing that I've noticed is that people want meaning in their life. Why am I alive? Why am I here? Why am I doing this thing called life? Why am I studying? And that's something that you need to find, is something that you love, something that you're good at, something that the world needs, but also something that you can get paid for, because, you know, we kind of need the lights to stay on, okay? And if you can find something that has all 4 of those things, then that is very much a good direction to go into, okay? If you want money, that's fine. But sometimes people, that's why people go into things like social working, where there's actually no money, okay? It's, yeah, they earn salaries, but it's the passion of helping people and helping children and getting children out of very bad circumstances, bringing families back together after a trauma has happened, intervening when it is necessary, because we need to also look out for the poor people in our society, and the children and the elderly, you know, old people who are being treated very badly. So if you can find something in that you can build yourself up to becoming one day, that is great. And that's why some people become doctors, but not everybody can be a doctor. And also, like, being a doctor, it's difficult to get in, and it's a lot of studying, and, you know, but that's why people go and they do volunteer work, for example. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so number 1 is assess yourself. Now, there's a lot of free online assessments. There's also professional assessments. Professional mainly means that you pay for them. So you can go to, I'm going to just jump to the bottom first, educational psychologists, psychometrists, and paid online assessments. Be careful with the paid online assessments. Sometimes they're not always legitimate. If you want to pay for something, I would advise going to a professional, a psychologist, for example, and let them do it. But the free online assessments are actually quite nice. So Eduvos has quite an awesome one. I did it recently. And pretty much it gave me actually what my job is at the moment. Okay, it said that I need to work with people, and that's what I do. Truity, that's also quite a nice one. 1, 2, 3 test, that's pretty decent. I like that one a lot. Career Explorer. If you do Career Explorer, you're going to be answering a lot of questions. Okay, at one stage I thought the computer was broken, but it said I'm a mentor, which is exactly what I do. And there's a lot of other things that it also gave. So it gave me quite a nice scope into who I am as a person. And this image on the side over here, I know it's a bit blurry, but this is ASA Futurescape. The questions are quite weird. So when you do it, whenever my students do it, they're always like, what's going on here? And I'm like, just answer the questions. But what's nice is that it gives you like a career portal. Okay, it gives you little universes, and then if you click on them, so marketing, you click on marketing, and then it'll come up with things like graphic design and something. And then there's also like a black hole that you click on, And then there's so many other jobs that are also within that industry. So definitely, why not just do all 5 of them, okay, and then see where you are at. And then maybe if it is necessary and you're still struggling, speak to mom and dad and say, hi, can I maybe go to a professional? There's a guy at Stellenbosch University. He runs his own company, but he charges, I think my student said he charges like 500-600 rand. But he does a full assessment. He takes the whole day with you, and then he gives you a report and says, this is where, based on your results, where you should go in your life. Okay, next one, please. Okay, make a list of potential occupations. Now, these are pretty much all the industries that there are, quite a lot, but I think there might be potentially more, okay? And you can then decide from there, do I want to go into health science? Do I want to go into art? Do I want to go into IT? Okay. And then go and research, like, what jobs are there in the health sciences? Okay. Doctors, nurses, caretakers, etc., etc. Okay, now explore your options. Discover what type of qualifications are needed to pursue which jobs in which industry, okay? I would say go onto things like PNet. Now, this is like some adult stuff that I'm throwing at you. This is what I use because I constantly research jobs. So a student comes to me and says, I'm thinking of doing interior design. And I'm like, okay, well, let's research what type of jobs there are available for you. If there is jobs, because sometimes industries change or they mold or they whatever. Okay, so use PNet, Indeed, LinkedIn Jobs, Careers 24. Okay, research the industry that you are wanting to go into. So what are the prospects or the ability of you to get a job within that industry? International recognition. So for example, your private universities usually are funded by international companies, which means that your degree or your qualification is internationally recognized. Then salary expectation and range. So are you looking for a high paying job or are you looking for a medium paying job? Just remember, the more money you earn, the harder, a lot of the times, the harder you work for that money. Okay. So much longer hours. So lawyers, yes, they earn lots of money, but they also work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. They work 80-hour weeks, where normal people, should I say normal jobs, you're looking at about 40 hours a week. So they work twice as much as what everybody else works, you see. Employment outlook, what is it looking like? Are there actually jobs available? Okay, if you type something in, like if you type counseling in or IT or something, and there's like 5 jobs, that means that there's not a lot of not a lot of jobs out there. Job description, are you willing to actually put yourself through that? So for example, like, okay, let me become an accountant. Are you insane? Me as an accountant, okay? I wouldn't make it past the first day, okay? Because no, thank you. So I'm not that type of person, so rather just don't go in that direction. Okay. Promotion opportunities, okay? What is the type of growth? Are you wanting a career or are you wanting a job? A career is, like actively pursuing growth within your industry, where a job is just to get money. Okay, so what are you wanting from it? And then also other industries that can relate that relate to your qualifications. So for example, like you want to go into IT, but maybe you don't want to do like IT technician or developing. Maybe robotics is quite a new upcoming industry. Okay, it's kind of the same, but it also adds in some engineering into it as well. Okay, so arrange consultations with educational consultants and student advisors at the local universities and colleges. Go to Eduvos, highly advise it. Speak to the people over there, let them help you, let them guide you. I'm going to give you my contact information if you want, and then you can also contact me. Ensure that you check the requirements to enter into training programs. This is extremely important. Like I said, if the requirement is that you have to have mathematics, that's a bit of a problem if you don't have mathematics. A lot of qualifications, the requirement is not that you have to have that though. Okay. So please check it. If it says that, like say for instance, a lot of people want to become vets, the only place to study to be a vet is upcountry in Johannesburg, Pretoria, something like that. So that means that if you're living here in Cape Town, that means that you have to relocate. So that immediately adds on cost of living, and that's if you even get in, because it's very competitive. Okay, so coordinate a CV like the one here on the side, not like the ones you learned at school, but professional and modern. Okay, put yourself out there in that way. Try and learn interview skills. Try and learn, capacity building. Build yourself up in certain ways, because a requirement of getting a job might actually be that you have to go for an interview. Okay, or it means that you might have to go for an interview to get into the university. Okay, next slide, please. Number 4, narrow down your list. Eliminate careers that are not of interest after your selection process. So you sat there going, maybe I want to be an accountant. And then you actually spoke to accountants and you saw what type of jobs they do. Take your job shadowing seriously. Okay, it is not a fun day for you to do nothing. It is for you to genuinely look at, what do I want from my life? Okay, take out the stuff that you're not interested in. Oh, I wanted to be an engineer. Actually, you know what? They have to travel a lot. I don't want to travel. Maybe that's not something that you should do. Okay, narrow down your list, taking into account strengths, weaknesses, values, ethics. Okay, are you willing to do that type of job? Okay, for example, there's some scientists that have to, for example, sorry for the sensitive individuals, but there are some times where you have to kill animals. Okay, are you willing to do that? Okay, my father was actually a scientist, and he says the amount of rats and mice and rodents that he had to kill for research purposes was so much. So he knows how to do it very humanely. So it's not painful to the animal. So what are you willing to do and what are you not willing to do? And you need to take that into account before the time. Okay, use the Big 5 personality test. Now this is called Ocean. Okay, there you can go online, type in the Big 5 test, take a free test and see what you are. So for example, a person who is high in conscientiousness, which is basically a person who just works all the time, and they work very hard, okay? And a person high in neuroticism, which means that you're just very anxious and you're very emotional, but you are in your head a lot. They are very good health and safety individuals. Where a person who is high in conscientiousness and high in agreeableness, they're very good administrators. Okay, so you want someone who's going to say yes, and you want someone who's going to work so hard, okay, as your administrator, because they won't say, sorry, I've got too much on my plate. They'll go, yes, I'll do that for you, because that's what administrators do. They do the admin of the business. Okay, and then also do a SWOT analysis. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Now, what does that mean? Strengths, what are your strengths? Okay, so are you a talker? Are you a doer? Are you a thinker? Okay, are you kind? Are you courteous? Are you extroverted? Are you, okay? And what are your weaknesses? Are you stubborn? Hard-headed? I know it's roughly the same thing, okay? Lazy. If you're lazy, you need to look at, are you willing to change? Or is that just who you are? So then maybe think about getting a job that caters to people who don't necessarily want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get to work by 8. Okay, maybe night shift might be something good for an individual who is a night person. You don't have to work during the day. Okay, and then what are your opportunities? Are mom and dad willing to buy you a car? If they're not, what are you going to do? Okay, are you going to take a taxi or a bus or Lyft Club all the way through Stellenbosch if you live here in Bellville or Cape Town? Or are you, what are your opportunities? What are your threats? Are you kind of like, money is a bit of a problem. Okay, if that is the case, maybe studying is not necessarily an option for you. Maybe think about getting bursaries, but that we'll discuss in one of the next slides. Okay, next one, please. Number 5, set goals. If you click once more, they are SMART goals. So let's just talk about short, medium, and long-term goals first. Short term within 12 months. Medium term, okay, they're not long-term, but they're not short-term. And then long-term goals. Long-term goals is anything over a year to 60 years, okay? Long-term goal is I want to become a a ballet dancer, or I want a professional ballet dancer, or I want to be on TV. I want to be an actress and I want to be on TV. Okay, it's not going to necessarily happen overnight. You're going to have to work towards something like that. There's also SMART goals. Now, SMART goals, if you want to do business studies, you will be doing SMART goals. They are specific. State what you want. Use verbs to describe what you want. Okay, they're measurable. They are achievable. Okay, so for example, you can't say, oh, I want to do my PhD by the time I'm 20. Like you're 15 and you're in grade 9, grade 10, whatever, and it takes 8 years to do a PhD, well, minimum like 8 years to do a PhD. But you're 15, it's going to take 8 years. It's not going to happen, okay, because it's not achievable. But turning around and saying, I want to do my PhD by the time I'm 30, that could be done, because I have a friend who had a PhD by the time he was 30. Wow, crazy. Okay. R is for relevant. Okay, is it within yourself? Now, yeah, it says within a job, but within your life, and also time bound. By when do you want to achieve something? Okay, and always remember that goals can be altered. Okay, so for example, I wanted to be a dentist, and I was going to go study medicine, and then I sat there going, actually, no, this isn't what I want, and I don't think that this is where I'm needed in life. And then I decided, why not psychology? I applied at Pearson, Eduvos, I got in, and I've never looked back. Best decision I ever made. Okay. So just because you set a goal doesn't mean that you have to necessarily stick to it. You can always just go, you know what, it was a goal that I had, but I've changed, I've grown into a different person, I see a need somewhere. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, create a career action plan. Okay, design a career action plan based upon the knowledge that you have acquired, okay, that you have gathered. Each person's plan is different, so don't compare yourself to other people's journeys. So, for example, I had a friend that I met when I was studying at Eduvos, and this girl, she was like, no, she wants to be a lawyer. So I was like, okay, well, why aren't you doing an LLB? Okay, which is the law degree that they offer. And she's like, no, I'm doing a Bachelor of Commerce where I specialize in law, because I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to work in contract law. And then I'm going to go and bridge into an LLB. And since she said that, I thought about it. And I'm like, actually, you know what? Sometimes there are different ways to get to where you want to get to. Okay. So for me, for example, let me just talk about myself. I am a counselor. I did my 4-year bachelor, so I have an honors equivalent, which is an Nqf 8, which I'm going to get to soon. And I want to pursue my master's. But the thing is, I didn't know what master's I wanted to pursue. So I decided, let me just go work for a bit, opened up my company, started working with students, because I have a head when it comes to education. So I'm selling my knowledge, I'm selling my abilities, okay, to my clients. And I decided, you know, I want to do educational psychology. Okay, so now paying off my student loan, doing what I can do. Okay, and then I'm going to then work on myself for a little bit more, and then I'm going to apply to be an educational psychologist. It's going to take me maybe 10, maybe 15 years to even apply to do it. But you know what? It's fine, because I'm building up my base. I'm building up my name, so that when I do have the qualification, that I just tap into what I'm already doing, the knowledge that I already have. You see? So, it might seem like, but you're taking forever. No, but the thing is, the journey is the experience. It is what you're wanting. The end goal is retirement, okay? You don't wonder, wait, retirement can wait, okay? 65, you can wait. Okay, enjoy being this age and enjoy what you are doing. Identify possible obstacles and develop appropriate steps to address them. Okay, what obstacles are there? Okay, wait, I don't have the finances for this. You can also go work for a couple of years. Okay, I'm a advocate for gap years. I'm an advocate for working years, not gap years where you lie on mom's couch. For working years where you go out and you have a job and you earn money and you figure out where you want to go. If you have got a qualification that you want to pursue, do it. But if you don't know where you want to go, why not take a gap year? Identify resources and opportunities that can be used. Like I said to my one student, I said to her, why not get a job at your dad's company? Your dad's offering you a job at the company, and then get the company to pay for your qualification. That can work. Okay, so now they're working at the father's company. They're busy studying for free because the company's paying them. Okay, they're earning a decent salary, and they're actually busy with promotions at the moment. So remember to link this plan with the following: your individual strengths. Who are you as a person? Okay, your abilities. What are you good at? Okay, say for instance, like, if you are in a wheelchair, becoming a rugby player on the South African rugby team is not going to necessarily happen. Okay, you could be part of the team, but it might not happen that you're actually a player on the team. But you can be the coach, you can be the umpire, you can be the person that, I don't know, make a plan. Okay, interest. What are you interested in? And also, what is your passion? Now, just down over here on the side, I know the image isn't the greatest, but it's the only image that had the word networking and self-awareness in it. Networking. Open up a LinkedIn account. Ask mom and dad to help you open it up and start networking with professionals. Okay, I'm not a fan of social media per se, but I don't see anything wrong with opening up a network, a LinkedIn account, or starting to look at getting a CV going, getting your name out there, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to open up your own business. Okay, start meeting people, start getting your name out there and network. Okay, and then self-awareness. You have to start realizing who you are as an individual and what you do to other people. Okay, are you stubborn? Sometimes it's a good thing to be stubborn, but sometimes it irritates other people, sometimes it hurts other people. Okay, and people don't want to work with someone who is selfish, for example. So if you are very self-centered, okay, you need to look at yourself and go, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? And if it's a bad thing, try and make an effort to adapt yourself. I'm not saying change who you are, okay, but maybe adapt in certain situations. If you are very loud and very outgoing, that's a good thing. Not if you want to be a librarian. You see, so you can adapt yourself into becoming more self-aware. Okay, next slide. Okay, and then last one of this is obtain training. Okay, so this is the part, okay, when Justin said that I'm gonna touch on, okay, I'm getting to it as well, but this is one of them that I'm going to be touching on, is training is different per industry. Trade versus academia. Okay, going to a university, this is academia. Trade, those are things like your electricians, your plumbers, your panel beaters, which are very, very, very needed industries in our society. If everyone was a doctor, nobody would have electricity. If everyone was a lawyer, nobody would have a car to drive. Okay, we need plumbers, we need electricians, we need those things. And also, genuinely, trade is quite a high earning industry as well, depending on where you go and work and whatnot. Plumbers are expensive. Okay, I mean, for 15 minutes of work, you pay them like 1,000 rand. That's a lot of money, okay? And it also requires a lot of skill. So especially if you're interested in cars, think about going into becoming a car mechanic. Why not? To get into the industry is very different and largely dissimilar in requirements. I'm trying to contact trades individuals who have studied trade, and I'm struggling to understand how the trade industry works, how the studying works, because it's not like university where it's just bachelor's, honors, masters, PhDs. It's this N level and then A levels, and but the thing is that there's different requirements. Okay, there's different expectations on each industry. Okay, each subsection of each industry has a specific set of requirements. And it is essential to choose the correct study path in order to enter an industry. Now, you need to understand that sometimes there is a thing like being overqualified, okay? And you want to identify what that means, okay, within the industry. If you have If you want to be an IT person, okay, go and do your A+ and your N+. Go in and then get into the industry and then work in the industry. Getting a bachelor's might make you overqualified, because what that means is that you're too expensive. Okay, so that's when things like certificates and diplomas are necessary. Okay, if you want to become a psychologist, you have to have a master's degree in psychology. End of story. And to do that, you have to do your bachelor's, then your honors, and then your master's. If you don't have a master's, you cannot be a psychologist. Okay, so, oh, I want to be a psychologist, but I'm only going to do my 3-year degree. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay, sorry, that's not what the industry says. And then also post-studies may be required, so depending on the industry. Psychology, like I said, you have to do your master's. You can't just do a 3-year degree. Education, you have to do your PGCE, okay, which is a postgraduate certificate in education. Different industries have different regulatory boards, okay, so psychology, medicine, okay, doctors, nurses, dentists, they all have to register with the HPCSA, the Health Professions Council of South Africa, and then they have to do CBD points, okay, which cost quite a lot of money every year, I must be honest, okay. It's a sufficient amount of money. If you look over a 5-year course, okay, a 5-year span, it's about 25,000 Rand over 5 years to do these CBD points. So you have to take these little things into account. But then also, there are also things like on-the-job training and training programs at your work. Okay, so next, we click it, it's going to move. So coaching, teaching, knowledge, development, all of those beautiful things. And then last but not least, okay, the role of work in relation to South Africa's social and economic needs. Next slide, please. Okay, so go and look up the different types of legislature, the different laws that govern South Africa, basic conditions, labor relations, skills development, BEE, and economic equity. Those are things like previously disadvantaged individuals will be given specific places, females, disabled individuals. What does disabled mean? Nqf levels, those are national qualifications frameworks. So if you are in grade 9, okay, you have no Nqf level. If you pass grade 9, you have an Nqf level 1. Nqf 2 is grade 10, Nqf 3 is grade 11, and Nqf 4 is grade 12. So if you matriculate, you have an Nqf 4. Regardless of what your marks are, you have an Nqf 4. I have an Nqf 8 because I have an honors equivalent. The highest you can get to is an Nqf 10. My cousin is a PhD. She has an Nqf 10. That is the highest level you can get to. I see over here it says a comment, so for IT it's better to get working experience rather than getting degrees. I would say it also depends on where you want to go. If you want to be a developer, okay, you need a qualification, you need a degree, okay, because you need to learn a language like coding and whatnot. But if you want to do like IT technician, I think gain experience and then you'll learn what you need from that, and then you go and study in that direction. Okay, last slide, please. And then last but not least, the need for a workforce. Guys, South Africa is sitting with the highest unemployment at the moment, okay, at 35.3%. And the youth unemployment, youth is anybody under the age of 35. We're sitting at a 66.5% unemployment rate, okay? Don't be frightened about this, okay? You need to concentrate and you need to work. The economy needs movement, which is primarily done for the workforce and individuals spending their money in the South African economy. South Africa needs to address the income inequality within the country, and as such, there is a dire need for entrepreneurship and job creation in various sectors. Guys are competing for limited jobs. Think outside of the box. Try and create your own employment. Try and create jobs. If you can, entrepreneurship, business, that is a very great part to be in. And then last but not least, there's a correlation between mental health and employment. Poverty and crime occur simultaneously, so at the same time, but poverty does not cause crime. Inequality and crime have a link. Okay, so for us to prosper, We need to place a higher emphasis on real-world qualifications, such as the qualifications that EduVos offer, I must be honest, and stimulating the economy through innovation and tackling issues at grassroots levels. So just one last thing very quickly. The reason why I support EduVos is I went there. And I must be honest, my education, I cannot fault my education. My parents chose amazing schools for myself. And I chose an amazing university, okay? I walked out of the industry and I have implemented the knowledge that I have in my own job, in my own company, and I have realized the amazing growth that that are within my students, okay? And the amazing effects that has had on their families, their communities, their environments, okay? So I do genuinely advise that give EduVos a phone call, okay? Send them an email and get in contact with them, okay? Thank you very much for that.
Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Thank you.
If anyone does want to get hold of you, if they do have any questions, or if they want to explore some of these other topics that you discussed, how can they get hold of you?
There we go. That is my website. You can go on and you can look at what my organization offers. And there's my email address. Please don't feel shy to email me. I love contacting. I love talking to people and with people and whatnot. Okay, so my email is open to anybody who wants to contact me.
Okay, perfect. And then also you got the website there. So thank you for that. Just moving on. So here's the survey again. You can either use the specific link, which I'll put into the chat that everyone can access, or the QR code. So I'll just give you a few minutes for those who would like to use a QR code while I put the survey link into the chat. Okay, so I do see that there is a question from Lutu, just with regards to why certain campuses at EduVos offer certain qualifications. And the reason for that is just due to our accreditation. So certain campuses are only accredited to offer specific qualifications. However, one of the goals with EduVos is to ensure that all campuses can offer all qualifications. So we have gone a reaccreditation for those sites. So hopefully we'll have some good news in the near future. Some of our upcoming events. So this is the World of Work webinar series. This was episode 1. Episode 2 will be taking place on the 8th of June, same time, same platform. So please do join. And then on the 20th of July is part 3, and the 7th of September is part 4. But communications on these ones will be sent to you, of course, as well, as you did attend this one. Some of the other training webinars that we have in place. So tomorrow is self-esteem, a very important soft skill and topic that we'll be covering tomorrow, same time. So if you do want to be invited, please do go onto our website, or you can go to the events.eduvos.com. There are all our other events coming up, which you can register for. In May, we have stress management, June, career choices, social media addiction, July, August, self-confidence, September, social and environmental responsibility, October, mental health, stigmatization, and in November, democracy and human rights. So once again, I want to thank you for attending, taking the time to attend today. Really do appreciate it, and I hope you've taken something away, and it's also spurred you to do further research in various topics or areas that Caitlin discussed today. Yeah, I just wanted to apologize for the technical issues. It does happen. We did do a dry run and didn't have those technical issues, but it does happen. So just apologies for that initially, but it did seem to work its way through the webinar If you are interested in having these topics at your school or institution, class, whatever it might be, please do indicate that in the survey. It will be important for us just to understand which schools or institutions, classes would like further sort of training like this, and then we can arrange that specifically. You do have Caitlin's contact details, and I just want to end off by thanking Caitlin for presenting today. She created all the content, all those resources that are available, and also once again your time I know is valuable. So thank you so much for assisting today. Once again, thank you everyone, and have a good evening. Bye-bye. Once again, thank you everyone for attending. I know your time is valuable, but really looking forward to this afternoon's or this evening's training webinar. It's the first series or episode of the World at Work, and we will touch on what we'll be covering in this specific episode. Just some sort of house rules. This session will be recorded for those who were unable to attend, to be able to view, but then also to use as a resource going forward. I would like to thank our speaker and presenter today, Caitlin. I'll introduce her shortly. And just a reminder for those who have attended these webinar series in the past, and for those who are new, we do encourage as much engagement as possible. So please do unmute yourselves if there is a question. Have given you that functionality, or you could put it in the chat box. But then as well, use the various icons on top if you see a very cool slide or hear something fantastic or inspiring with a thumbs up or heart, etc. We really do encourage the engagement. So the webinar series that we've been offering this year in 2022 is in line to our purpose, which is shaping potential student by student towards Africa's prosperity. And this is one way that we can ensure that we are shaping your potential by also offering you the platform to start taking accountability for your learning. So we hope that you get some insights out of today, but also provides you with that platform to further explore a specific topic going forward, just to really ensure that we are continuously learning, because that's how we do shape our potential. There is a survey, if you can all please complete. I will also put it at the end of the presentation for you to complete. It's just based off the event itself, what more you'd like to see, and just some feedback on the event itself. So apologies, I'm just going to pause there for now so you can use that QR code, and then I can let everyone else in that is a guest. So just admit them in. Yeah, okay. Cool, so you can use that QR code or the specific link here. I will put the link at the end of the webinar as well. Okay, cool. Heading over just who we are. So like I said, my name is Justin Sawi. I'm the Business Development Solution Specialist for EduVos. Our presenter today is Caitlin. She's the entrepreneur and director of Old Oak Academy. She is an educational consultant and counselor. She has her Bachelor of Psychology Honours cum laude from EduVos, which was previously known as Pearson Institute of Higher Education. Old Oak Academy is an education management institute that is bridging the gap between school and university. The Academy focuses on professional development, capacity building, mental health, academic development, and enables young adults to become competent adults in a rapidly evolving society. Education is not a one-size-fits-all, and we strive to provide personalized and individualized services to all their clients. At the end of the presentation, she will share her contact details for those who are interested in further assistance. EduVos, for those who are new to the brand, it's all in our name. So EduVos, with the edu part of EduVos refers to education and you taking custodianship and responsibility for your education. The VOS part of EduVos refers to you and you becoming your best version. Therefore, EduVos refers to your education, ensuring that you make the best version of yourself, because your education is your future. We offer 27 qualifications in the faculties of Applied Science, Commerce and Law, Humanities and Arts, and Information Technology. Various Nqf Levels, which I think Caitlin will be discussing today, from the pre-degree foundation phase, higher certificate degrees, as well as honors qualifications. And then for those who haven't seen this video, I'll quickly play that and then we can move on into the presentation.
A new beginning. Bring it on. Limitless learning. 12 cutting-edge campuses. Countless courses. Freedom to innovate. Real-world skills. Teaching tailored to you. Traditional teaching meets tomorrow's technology. Challenge your thinking. The future's on the line. Answer the call. Same foundation, new possibilities. We've been transformed. Now you can be too. Changing our communities. Changing Africa. Changing the world. Welcome to EduBus. Your education. Your future.